Good morning. Breathing. Oxygen. Why is it so easy to breathe when you're outdoors? I've got traffic out here. We'll talk about that in a minute. We have to burn energy to filter that out. But being outdoors, I smell something in the grass. I smell, growth. Sunshine. You know what sunshine is? Free energy. Takes no energy to see during the day when there's sunshine. Now at night, it burns a lot of energy. The rods that process the black and white part of how we see at night, they're very oxygen greedy. So when we're in sunshine, breath becomes a little more easier because we don't have to burn as much to take a breath and to get other things functioning as well. So being outdoors, the warmth is vibration. Energy is all about vibration. Oxygen is the energy we need. Oxygen is nuclear level fuel for the brain, the heart, and the lungs. And oxygen especially diffuses through the lungs. And the more that we can practice those lungs opening up like a sponge, they're very sponge-like, actually. All the little corners and nicks and nannies and parts that will take in the oxygen diffuses through. Use it or lose it. And if you've lost it, you're a perfect candidate for COVID-19. It's people who are the happy hypoxics, low oxygen, and they don't even know it. Because even when we're low oxygen, when I'm sitting at the piano, I oxygenate and I play it. But when I have a really hard thing to play, I hold my breath to make that happen. So when you're low oxygen, you have it's like twitch responses. Certain insects, certain animals have those twitch responses. That's a low oxygen. That's a hypoxic. You can trace back epilepsy to hypoxia. When a cell is starved of oxygen, young people who sit in class with their foot going like that is hypoxia. Now, if you were oxygenated and you were trying to do that, it would go slower and it would be hard. It's work. But we have twitch muscles. And so our brain, heart, and lungs can only live. There's a nice breeze. And the warmth of the sun is vibrational energy. My body doesn't have to keep itself warm. The sun is warming it for me through the energy of the sun. Solar energy creates energy. It creates, electricity, all those things. But when we are with ourselves and we want to continue to evolve as these humans, we are very complex. We know that. I think we want to stay complex. We want to stay functional. We want to be talented. Oxygen fuels our talent networks, all of them, be it cooking or my gardening. I'll share my gardening with you. Very wonderful to watch the garden grow. Here's my echinacea plants and, pansies and begonias. And every day I come out and these echinacea have gone more on me. Anyway, there's another corner or two that I could share with you. I love this plant. It's done so beautifully. It's been so wonderful to watch it grow. And I see it grow, and my subconscious knows it's growing too. And in a way, I grow with it. We have the mirror neuron system. To the extent that we fuel and enable it, we have instincts, very established instincts. We can read into other people as well. I do it from the left side. This is you see the right side of my brain, which is the creative side. I need to get at that piano, get it more creative, don't I? And the left side of my brain, which is the scientist, the mathematician, trying to put all these pieces together. It's a whole different person, really. The brain is fascinating. It all needs oxygen. And these external limbs, our arms, our legs, during surgery, a doctor can cut off the blood supply to the arm for 6 hours. No damage. If you did that to the brain, you would be all damage. There'd be nothing left. It'd be only damage. So there are two different sets of tissue that form when the embryo is developed. And the brain, heart and lungs is one of them, and the skin and bones and all that stuff is another one. So, and the face is very oxygen derived. Brain mesenchyme, they call it, little brain cells derive and make our wonderful face that enables us to breathe, enables us to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about inner wealth and talents and treasures of that sort. So I'm very appreciative of this pandemic, that we can understand the importance of oxygen, and nature is a great way to sit and practice it. Much less chance of us getting stressed or preoccupied from using our executive that hooks into our amygdala. We can just kind of appreciate the growth around us, and all the growth, the nature, the changing clouds. We perceive that at very subconscious, instinctual levels. We have that reptilian brain. You better believe it. Even in the hippocampus, where Alzheimer's develops. That's a 3-layer brain area. Three layer. That's the primitive brain. Up here in the executive, it's 6 layers. I don't know what all those 6 layers do. I don't think scientists do either. But it's more complex, and it's a very sharp little rudder we have. We have a rudder that says, I'm going to do this and that today, and then leave it alone. The hippocampus is also the last drop-off point for oxygen in the brain. What does that mean? And we've talked about the lungs are all or nothing. They want all of the oxygen, and boom, slides into the system, and it definitely gets to the hippocampus. And if it doesn't get enough oxygen, guess what doesn't get oxygen? Hippocampus. It's the last drop-off point. So it goes up in the vasculature in the middle, finally gets to the hippocampus. And there's reasons that happens too, and that they're all wonderful, and that the hippocampus also has an area where you continue to breathe while I'm saying these things, right? That's what we do. This is a breathing session. Oh, stretch and breathe. Yes. Oh, stretch this way. Bend over and breathe. Talk with a friend, laugh with a friend, and gasp it back in. It's our theme for the day. Laugh with a friend and gasp it back in. Great. So hippocampus is also the site of neurogenesis, where new brain cells are born. And that happens to be in a zero oxygen environment. So if something happens, we're like, what? We hold our breath, and that signals a zero oxygen, and a new neuron is born. Then it needs oxygen to continue to grow. Just like in embryogenesis, it's a very protected, tight, anemic, low oxygen type growth, and a lot of stuff happens. A lot of growth happens, and it's zero oxygen, but it's only transient. Then it flips into the oxygenated DNA, the oxygenated world that flipped billions of years ago, and we have evolved in an oxygenated. We need oxygen. It's our primary fuel. No fear. Long neck, loose shoulders. In with good stuff. and out with even better. Have a great day. And that is a breathing lesson.